Hi everyone, welcome back. In this series of the blog, we'll be talking about a very interesting topic, the scamper technique, and we'll try to understand gross national happiness through this scamper technique, and in this regards, we'll be focusing more about, as a service, or how happiness can be determined or we use it as a philosophy as it's used in Bhutan. So the scamper technique. So number one, scamper, S, substitute. So substitute, in terms of substitute, it means basically uh, what can we substitute in place of something that can be made better. In this regards, in gross national happiness, in place for to measure the development of the country, the philosophy gross national happiness replaced the philosophy of gross domestic product. So that's a substitute. So moving on further, as the C, the combine. So in this combine, it means what can we combine to make something better or add value. So for example, in terms of gross national happiness, uh, we could the combinations of the concept of the happiness index and the gross domestic product was determined to bring out this gross national happiness concept, which is very interesting. In general, globally, we measure the country's development in gross domestic product, and in some cases we also have happiness index. But however, in Bhutan they combine these two, and which was called the gross national happiness. Or for example, under the, as you saw it on the website, under the four pillars there are nine domains and 72 indicators. So how to measure happiness. So in this regards, this is how we combine, to make and to see and measure happiness. Then moving on further, adapt. Adapt is nothing but how can we make the process flexible, or in terms of product, anything we can add to the product to make it better. So in terms of gross national happiness, after the four pillars, earlier there were only four pillars. So the four pillars, as we know, if the, it's the socio-economic development, environment conservation, then promotion of culture and good governance. But later on, again, after Bhutan introduced the four pillars of gross national happiness, then they introduced the nine domain. So this was how they adapted to make it more specific and more clearer to be able to measure gross national happiness. Then modify. Modify means now, after adapting, uh, what kind of changes and that we can bring, and rather not adjustments. So in terms of process, it could be, can we make any modification that has a different process, or in terms of product, can we change to make the product better, and in terms of the theory of the gross national happiness is that the gross national happiness theory was put to test with certain calculation to measure gross national happiness value. So it was not just left theoretically, but there's a bit of calculation also how to measure and assess gross national happiness. So that is how modification from the scamper technique works. Then put it to another use. The P stands for put it to another use, means can other organizations, can other agencies, other countries, or other companies use it, use the product or the services. And in this case of gross national happiness, the concept is quite pretty used beyond Bhutan. Now it's becoming quite fashionable and also quite logical, I believe, in terms of governance, governments trying to use gross national happiness as a measuring indicator for the country. For example, there are cases where Great Britain also took that consideration. Likewise, the UN took the gross national happiness into their concept, and also used it as a value of creating enhancement into their services. And they then in 2018 they also identified a day which was called the Happiness Day on the 20th of March based on this gross national happiness concept. So this is how that the P, the put it to other use, means eliminate. Now in this regards, in terms of a process, it could be if we eliminate a step, or how can we make it better, or in terms of product, can we take away the product and then do something to it that would make the product even better. So for example, we could do, in terms of gross national happiness, we could take away some of the indicators. There are 72 indicators, so we could take some of the indicators which are not relevant to the context. For example, in terms of indicators, of course, under education, literacy could be one indicator for a very developed advanced country that is not required. Or under culture diversity, maybe, for example, in terms of Singapore, which is a very modern country where which the historical standard is different, so maybe it's not relevant. So in this regards, we could eliminate some of the indicators but still use the gross national happiness concept. And ultimately are the reverse. It means that instead, can we reverse the process, or the product that can be made better, that the purpose being made better. Of course, in terms of gross national happiness, there are 4 pillars, 9 domains, and 72 indicators. But based on this, of course, maybe we could first take the 72 indicators, then focus on the 9 domains and the 4 pillars, because ultimately we are still focusing on that. So it is how we can use it. So in terms of this idea of the gross national happiness and the scamper techniques, so I'm sure now how this gross national happiness concept can become a bit technical also, and could be understood beyond its concept, and could also be understood as in terms of design management. So I hope this was useful. So thank you very much, and see you next time for the next episode.